Well, look what we got here. We got that good-looking dog, Jet and Grace. Look at those two dogs. Aren't those two dogs the best-looking dogs you've ever seen? Uh-oh, they heard a squirrel. Uh-oh, they heard a squirrel. And you got cute little chunky Winston. My great dogs. And me back up in the mountains. And I haven't had a video for a little bit. I've been a little too burned out. My son's in the Marine Corps. The last 2 weeks have been pretty overwhelming. More importantly, I don't know if anything's more important than my son, so I better leave it at that perspective. I just don't know what he fights for anymore. What does my son stand for in the Marine Corps? America that doesn't give a shit about an insurrection, doesn't give a shit about. All we want to do is just take sides. I mean, Biden is fucked up so bad. And I feel bad for that man. Every night I guarantee he goes to bed and he doesn't go to bed. The weight of the loss of those 13 service people will weigh on him for the rest of his life. Did he go into Afghanistan completely unprepared into a horrible situation? Absolutely. In fact, devastatingly so in my opinion. In fact, I think people that are in the administration and in the Pentagon, those important people should lose their jobs, be demoted. 13 service members, just like my son. The head of the spear they are, and they would not want to leave any of those Afghans behind, even at the risk of their own life. If they helped us in the last 20 years, now I don't believe hardly any of them, speaking with my son, would feel at all good about their service if they left somebody behind that they knew helped them stay alive and helped try to promote democracy in that country. But it's all turned to tragedy. And more importantly, let's turn back to tragedy here in the States. We can just do nothing but hammer on the president. And I'm so in the middle and I'm so exhausted. This country just can't figure itself out. We are so filled with hate, and I am in the middle, but I'm telling you, the right is just tearing this country apart. I don't care what anybody says. The rights of masks. You think you have a rights of mask to actually maybe take the life of somebody else and maybe pick up arms against your government because you have to put a mask on to be a decent, normal human being, and then say, don't tread on my person, and then try to pass laws that you've already done to not allow somebody like my daughter to have her own personal rights of her own body, or demonize somebody of a different religion that's not a Christian, take away voting rights of people of color. And this is talking from somebody that was as red could be for 22 years of his life. You could call me Santa Claus every damn day. And now I'm just sick to my stomach. What's happened? Where this country's going, and what is my kid fighting for? In my opinion, he shouldn't be. This country's not worth defending anymore because we can't even take democracy serious. All we are is about power and money. Biden, I can't believe what you did, let alone you left billions of dollars worth of hardware, billions, for the industrial fuck job military complex. That what? Now those weapons will be turned around and used on my son if we ever try to get in that area again. How dare you on that one? Because you know why? Because you're just like all the other politicians. Just make some more, baby. Take some more of that money. Make us all feel patriotic or less than, because we won't submit to the fact that you give $800 billion to the military, yet you spend or misallocate or don't give a shit about weaponry that'll turn around and be used against us because we failed that whole situation toward the last 6 months. That is a failure. Do I believe you shouldn't be reelected? Yeah. I think this is enough for you not to be reelected. Does that tell me that Donald Trump was probably going to win, knowing that that's probably what's going to happen because nobody on the right has their shit together? And then that leads us down a path of darkness. I don't care if anybody says. Bleak darkness. control at the highest levels in our lopsided 6-3 conservative Supreme Court, the corruption coming out of Texas and Georgia and Florida, overturning everyday basic human rights, and then going to try to cram down the throat abortion legislation that you have no fucking right to do. There's nowhere in the Bible. I live my whole life following God and Christ. I do. I think I do better than most, and some better than myself. But I try hard, and I'm just so sick to my stomach. This is about my son potentially giving his life for a country I no longer believes has earned or deserves the military defending what we have now become, a country of division, of hate, power, and control. We have climate change going to fuck us here. We are in a disaster that's just going to get worse in the West. A disaster. It's not going to get better. Climate scientists know the West is going to get drier. We're going to become more arid, more problems. And what are we doing about it? Not even one penny in the act of building bridges and infrastructure. Do you think the politicians give a shit about any of us? Any of us? You think the wealthy people give a shit about any of us? Do you think Elon Musk, who now has an AI that looks like a human, gives a shit about any of us? You know how many people he's going to put out of work in the next 20 years? Do you know how Amazon's darkness, I mean, if there was ever a darkness that's raining down on this planet, it's that son of a bitch. I mean, we have Facebook, who just makes billions and billions off of division and wanting us to kill each other and wanting to have an insurrection, and what is happening and bubbling up with all the millions and hundreds of millions of guns that are being purchased in this country. I mean, what is my kid fighting for? If it was up to me, I would ask him to leave the military, because his life is not worth our behavior. And I don't know what we're doing. Greatest country on planet Earth, with all the opportunity to evolve into something better, to be seriously a light on the hill, and we're nothing. We're darkness. We're getting darker every day because of money, power, and the right fringe that's off the hook. And if that offends people, you're not paying attention. With all my love of this country, with all my love of my children, with all the love of my son in the Marine Corps, infantry, willing to give his life, what are we doing? I love this country. Peace.